You don't have headphones on while you're watching this. I am sorry, because it sounds like I'm literally about to make love with my canvas. Yeah. Hello, my gorgeous, beautiful, wonderful queen bees. It is your girl Amanda, the Buzzed Artist. Welcome back to my channel, a place where you can let loose and just have fun with your acrylic paint, people. And yay! I am back from my vacation. I am so refreshed, so excited to just get on to another tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make these adorable blue knit mittens. The kind of mittens that can keep you nice and warm on a cold, wintry day. So grab your brushes and grab your supplies and come meet me. I'm going to show you exactly how to make this. Okay, queen bees, what we're going to start with today is our 3/4 inch flat wash brush. Let's turn our canvases horizontally because I'm thinking a horizontal thing would be really, really fun and cool. So I'm going to take my 3/4 inch flat wash brush, I'm going to dip it into my water, and we're going to go ahead and make our background. So to start, I'm going to just take some white, and we're just going to add a nice little thin layer of white, and we're going to apply that all over. So I'm glad to be back. There was a nice lovely break for the Christmas season, and I am just super stoked that we have hit 10,000 subscribers, and that's amazing. So I just wanted to thank each and every one of you for being there with me from the very, very beginning. I never thought, I keep saying this over and over again, but I never thought I'd get to this point. Really, it's like crazy nutso-ness. So my deepest thanks, my love, my gratitude to all of you for helping make this little girl's dream come true. Oh man, 10,000 subscribers. I can't even like think about 10, like I can't even think about 100 people I know, let alone 10,000. You know, that's just nuts, man. That's just nuts. Okay, so I think I've decently wet my canvas quite a bit. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do next is just go ahead and add little tinges of gray in here just to add a little bit of intrigue into our painting. So I'm just going to go in with just black and maybe just try to grab some white so I can make a nice gray color. And then using water, because I want to water this down quite a bit, we're just going to go ahead and create just some lines vertically like so. And I don't want to cover the whole canvas with this, I just want to do a little bit. Yeah, especially since our mittens are going to go in the middle here. We don't really have to paint that part. But I think this will be good, just to add in these areas here. Okay. And if you feel like you add a little too much black, don't worry about it, because you can always just wait for this part to dry, and then you can just go back in with your white. Or you can just completely clean your brush out, and then just go in with white. So I'm just gonna pull in my white right here and just put it on top. Oh, that's pretty. Oh, that's the stuff. Oh yeah. Do you guys remember that like Hostess commercial from the 90s where they would say like, now that's the stuff? I always remember those commercials. I think my favorite one had to be the one with the shark. He was underwater, and there was this woman who was in a tube thing that looked like a host, like one of the Hostess snacks. I can't remember which one exactly. Maybe Ring-a-Ding, or I don't even know the names of these snacks. But from below, it looked like a Hostess snack. So the shark is going up, and he's like, "Oh God, I'm gonna have me a nice tasty snack." And then he turns out, you know, he just nose dives up this woman's butt, and she just like falls out of the tube, and hilarity ensues. She doesn't die, thank goodness, but it's just kind of a funny scene, and he just is just completely overwhelmed by the fact that he did not in fact get his Hostess snack. Our poor little shark. So that was that. I have a friend of mine who is obsessed with sharks. Like, she's also a fellow artist, so I'll be sure to link her Instagram information onto this channel, but she has this affinity for sharks, and I absolutely love it because it's one of those things, like, you know when you have that friend that, like, loves one particular thing and they're passionate about it, and that makes you so happy, so every time you see something that's kind of sort of related to the thing that they really like, you're just, like, constantly wanting to share it with them and be like, it's shark stuff, and they're like, yeah, and you're like, yeah. I mean, that's my friend. That's my friend Laura Lee. She's awesome. But yeah, she's obsessed with sharks, and she has some commission work actually that she's done with just like shark paraphernalia, which I thought was really freaking cool. Alright, so I guess I'm pretty good with this for the most part. So we'll just let this part dry before we start going in with our mittens. So let's check back in the powers of editing. 3, 2, 1, boom! Okay, so we are back. The canvas is officially dried, which is fantastic. So next, we're gonna go ahead and add in our mittens. This is gonna be so much fun, you guys. So while I was waiting for my canvas to dry, I actually went ahead and did a quick SketchUp of the mittens we're going to be doing on tracing paper. Then I went over what I did in pencil with a carbon pencil, and then that carbon, we will trace it onto here, and that will just transpose onto the canvas itself. I'm also going to be including the stencil for this in the description below, so be sure to download that and check that out. Okay, so I'm just going to turn this over, and I think I'm going to put that, let's see, this is the beauty about tracing paper, you can pretty much put it anywhere you'd like. So I'm thinking, I'm going to put it kind of like in the middle here, just like so. I want it to be the focal point. Okay, so we're going to take our pencil, I'm just going to go over the lines that I've traced with carbon pencil, and by doing that, this should transfer the carbon pencil etchings onto the canvas itself. You can also use a like just carbon paper in general. You can like buy those at like any craft store. I think they also have them at Michael's, and it's the perfect thing to do when it comes to like etchings and sketch. Like if you want to sketch something first without ruining your canvas first, this is the perfect way to do it. And it's something that I've come to discover I really like too, because then I don't have to worry about ruining something or ruining my canvas that I've already, you know, put work into. Granted, this took like 5 minutes to do with the canvas we did, but hey, it's the principle of the thing. Alright. Okay, so I'm just going to do the grand reveal. Ta-da! Oh, it's so cute. I love it. Oh, every time I do this, I always just get so happy. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to move over to my filbert brush, number 10. He's fantastic for these kind of jobs. So what we're going to do first is we're going to add in the colors of our mittens, okay? So I'm just going to wet my brush a little bit. I'm going to add some blue. And I'm just going to mix in some white along with that as well, so we can get a nice pale blue. Nice winter blue, if you will. A little bit more blue in that. Basically, if you have a certain decor in your house, you have a certain like color you like to use for your house, use that color. You don't have to go with blue, but just make sure you if you want to get like really nice pastel blues or pastel looking colors, you just want to go ahead and add white to them. But that's pretty much it. You can just use pretty much any color you have lying around. That's your preference, really. So don't let me stop you on just using this one color. I just like the color blue. It's very calming, and plus for winter, the color blue is just perfect, right? In the art world, when you're looking at colors, they serve that purpose of being, you know, like blue is the cool color. It helps to bring down the temperature of a color, or yeah, of a color, of a scene. So really, it does serve a big purpose on its own. So when you have blue and you're doing a winter scene, hey, you know, you're pretty much halfway there with achieving a very nice cool down color. And reds are more of a fire color. They indicate temperature that is higher, right? These is little twerks and tweaks and hints of the art world, I suppose. But and I'm learning them too on my own as I go, right? So I'm just using the, you'll notice I'm using like the broad side of my brush, so like this part, to do the edges, because Mr. Filbert here is very, very adept at doing curved surfaces, okay? He's very good at helping you achieve that nice, smooth line for your corners. So anyways, how was everybody's holiday? Did you do anything special? Did you do anything special for New Year's? What are some of your New Year's Eve or New Year's traditions? Personally, Ethan and I don't really have our own tradition. My mom usually does this big New Year's Eve party that she hosts, and we end up just going over there and celebrating with her. But yeah, so we end up playing games. We don't really watch movies, really, because we have guests over and stuff. But, we end up playing games, and then we also do, like, we eat a lot, too. I mean, when do I not eat a lot whenever I talk about visiting with my family? Yeah, it's Italian. It's an Italian thing, right? You have to overeat at least 3 times when you're visiting there, and then the 2-day span that you're visiting, right? So, so yeah, we do that, and usually when it comes to the ball dropping, we do have the whatever TV special that's on that features the ball drop. We watch all that, and then the ball drops. We all have like kazoos and have all these like little things that we use to like welcome in the new year and make noisemakers, I guess they're called, not kazoos, because Amanda, we're not in the 50s anymore. I think I wanted to say this. I think it's so funny how some of you guys' comments. It's just hilarious when I'm talking about certain old movies that I like The Grinch, for example. I'm all about the 1966 version, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, kid, you are born in the wrong era. Like seriously, you're all about like the older movies." And I am. I think I just like the more not kidified versions of stuff. I never liked it as a kid, being like when I knew a movie was talking down to me that was directed towards kids, and maybe there was like 1 or 2 that come to mind that maybe I just like swept under the rug and was like, you know what, I enjoy this. I think, what movie was it that I was rewatching lately, and I'm like, wow, I cannot believe I thought this was like a viable thing. What was it? Oh my gosh, what was it? I can't remember, but do you guys ever have that experience? You have this picture in your mind of what that movie was for you when you were growing up, and then you rewatch it later, you're like, wow. God, I liked that? Why? What was it for me? One of them, I think, was the Magic Voyage was one that I liked a lot, and not Ever After, Happily Ever After. These were 2 movies that are not Disney, but they were kind of like not knockoffs. Like Happily Ever After was about Snow White, but instead of with the dwarfs, she's with the Dwarfels, and it was done by the same people who did like He-Man and stuff. I forget the company name, but I remember loving that. I rewatched it again. It was okay. I mean, it was. I mean, if I were to watch it now, I'd be like, "What is this movie?" But I remember as a kid, I loved watching that. So yeah, I guess your tastes change. What movie did that for you guys? Comment below and let me know. I'm always interested to hear, the horrors of our childhood and how stuff just never really stands up to the way we thought it did. Oh, the disappointments. This just took a very depressing turn, so I apologize, everybody. Anyways, look at these gloves, right? Let's look at the right thing that's happening here. It's gloves. I'm loving these gloves. And you'll notice that I actually did enlarge in them. So if you put down the stencil and you're like, you know what, I can make this a little bit bigger. I do want to have a little extra to that. Just go for it, So I'm adding a bit more and more to the edges here as I go. And seems to do just the right job. I'm digging it. Now, I'm trying to remember when was the last time I wore gloves like these, because let me think. Yeah, I was probably like 5 the last time I wore gloves like these, and then, you know, you come to discover you can't do diddly squat with these kind of gloves in your palm. Like, you can't even make good snowballs. Like, that was one thing that I noticed and I was outraged about. It's like, oh, if only I could just pick all this mound of snow up with my dexterous fingers instead of with these paw mittens that I have on. You know, there was a functionality to being a kid, and that was one of them being making a really good snowball in a very short amount of time before someone else got you in the face with a snowball. It's true. I did have a brother, so, you know, we had a lot of snowball stuff going on. Alright, you're looking good. Looking muy caliente. Yeah, I called my glove hot. Whatever. Y'all judge. Y'all don't talk to your paintings. I mean, I end up doing that. Like, maybe it sounds like a generic artist thing to do. You know, you just have this conversation with your paintings. I'm sure that the greats, you know, I'm sure Salvador Dali, Da Vinci, I'm sure they all sat down at one point and was talking to their paintings like they were actual people, you know? And I read somewhere that, according to Facebook, people that talk to their paintings, or henceforth to themselves, are actually highly intelligent. I'm going to take that and I'm going to stick with it. So, there you go. Alright. Well, I think this is pretty cute. A good start for sure. So I'm just going to give my brush a rinse. We're going to go take a look in the reference picture. I also included the reference picture for you all, so be sure to just go ahead and check that out so you can take a look-see. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to add maybe a little bit more on the top here with the blue, because I don't know, I'm feeling that this could use a little bit more here. So I actually started using a little bit more palette knives. Right now, I mean, the intent is just to kind of help me with my paint mixing. But I made a Saturday story time using, and part of it I used a palette knife to help create some effects. This was like the Snow Queen one that I did, if you guys remember that one. That one was so much fun to make. And doing the palette knife I just was trying to look for a way to really add that air of spontaneity into the painting that felt like very wild. And doing something with a palette knife, you know what I mean? It just like, it helps give you that nice wild side that you're looking for with your paint. I never thought I'd fall in love with it. I think it's such a fun thing to play with. So definitely will use that in the future. Who knows? Maybe I'll use this for that. Oh, maybe I'll use some for this painting. Who knows? We'll see how we feel. We'll see how we feel. Okay. All right. Maybe just a little more over here. Yeah, we're just playing, people. We're having a good time. Beautiful. All right. So let me just add a little bit more here. I know I keep psyching you all. It's like, okay, we're good, and I'm gonna add some more. This is what we like to call the artist dilemma. It's just constantly feeling like you have to make tweaks and tweaks and tweaks until it's beyond recognition, and then you're crying for 2 hours because you just completely messed up a painting. Don't do that. It's acrylic. It can be painted over, no problem. It can be painted over, no problem. Okay? Yeah, look at that. I think that's adorable. I think that gives us enough of a focal point here. So I'm going to rinse my brush because... Rinse? My goodness, Amanda, English. Anyways, you guys know how I don't speak English sometimes because, well, fatigue, I suppose. Okay, so I'm going to let this part dry just a little bit. While that's drying, I want to go back in and add a few little like shadow details onto our mittens. So I'm just going to take, again, my filbert, and I'm going to just dip it into black, wow, what is this color, blue? Yeah, blue. I'm just going to dip it straight up into blue, okay? And I'm just going to add that straight up blue to the edges of the glove here, and I probably need a little bit more blue to help me with that. But this is just to help with your shadows, to get some sort of contrast going on here. And I'm using the reference picture here, just trying to look for where my darker shadows are, which I think they're like right around here somewhere. Okay, cool. Maybe put some right here. And then I'm just going to very lightly feather the edges of the shadow going up into the glove so it doesn't look like a complete block of just one color, because that just looks weird. Okay, and then we're going to do one at the tip of the glove where like the thumb is. And then again, feather it. I'm very lightly just feathering it to kind of blend up into the lighter blues here. Okay, and then up here as well. Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, so I am a little sad that, you know, Christmas season is over. Well, technically it's not over. For those of you who are the staunch Christmas followers, Christmas technically isn't over until I believe it's called the Epiphany, which is like the 16th or the 12th? The 12th. It's the 12th of January, and that's when technically the Christmas season is officially over. Not this, it's over, you know, when the 26th arrives. Nah, I do not believe that. It's not just like, hey, it's here and then it's gone. It's not that at all. So I keep all the decorations up. They're still up, and I'm very, very happy about that because they just look marvelous. And you know what? When the weather is just really cold and it gets really dark really early, you just want a little something to just brighten your day, so that when you're walking around your house, it just has that nice brightness to it. In fact, I might actually keep the Christmas lights on for the majority of the year, because I don't know, they look super cute, and I'm a huge fan of what they do for the space. So we're gonna do that, and plus Ethan likes them a lot too. I love them. All right. So how long do you guys keep your Christmas decorations up for? Are you the type that just kind of looks at Christmas as, okay, you know what, the 26th is here, get it out, throw the tree out, everything out? Or do you like to just kind of keep the tree in for quite a bit? Are you the people that like to keep it year round? Because let me tell you, I mean, it's a little strange. I'm not gonna lie, my mom is one of those people that will keep a tree on as long as she possibly can. In fact, she'll always start a tree early just so she can always have a tree on. She has done holiday trees, like, what's that holiday? Halloween? She's done a Halloween tree. She's done a Thanksgiving tree, which I think is a fabulous idea. But once like the January is ended, I think we've had, like, growing up, I've had the tree there in our house. I think the longest we've had it maybe was up until the beginning of February. And then at that point, I think it was starting to become a little just a little weird to have a Christmas tree hanging around. But it was just so pretty. It's just so pretty. Oh, you know what? I made the mistake of dipping it into my water and all the paint just kind of lifting off. We have lift-off, boys. Oh, goodness, God. That's the one thing about acrylic paint. You got to be very careful with the amount of water you use, because sometimes it just completely just lifts everything up. And once that happens, all you got to do is just add more paint, less water to your brush, and just apply as needed. Or you can always just wait for it to dry. Simple. It's not the end of the world. Painting's not gonna combust. It really does astound me sometimes when I'm like seeing people do, if they make a mistake and they're just like, oh God, oh God, I can't believe I did that, and they're swearing and they're just very, very upset about everything. I get it. I get there's a reason why to be a little upset about it, but this is something you do for leisure. It's something you do for fun, and if you're getting upset about something you do for fun, it's like, ooh, we may want to just like investigate. We want to investigate that a little bit. You might want to like think about how you're viewing this activity, right? And I think the moral of the story is don't pick up painting, or don't expect painting to be like this ultra meditative experience if you're not willing to make it one. It's very, very easy to fall in that trap of like, this has got to be absolutely perfect and blah blah blah, and it's like, hey, you know what? You're here to just play with your brushes a little bit, okay? Not a big deal. And the sooner we can learn that, the better. Because honestly, and I've said this in a lot of my videos, we take life way too seriously. You know, everybody's got major responsibilities everywhere they go, and don't bring that in with your paintings. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like, this is your time to just be a kid again, and it's okay to make mistakes, you know what I mean? And I think we get so focused on being perfect. And I don't know if any of you are recent moms or have had kids and you notice how your kids are just so creative when they're younger. It's because they're uninhibited, you know, everything they do is okay. And to explore and to play is needed, because that's when they can develop their creativity skills and understand, like, and push boundaries and do what they got to do with their own creativity. That's what makes them unique and special and not ordinary. So I guess think about that. Think about like when your kids were really little and they had that active imagination, and, you know, believe it or not, you had that. You had an active imagination. You had all this stuff going for you too when you were younger. And, you know, you gotta open that back up for yourself by being okay with the outcomes that are going to be presented to you. You know, disappointment will exist everywhere you go, but it's just how you perceive it. You know? Amanda's rant corner, I guess. I'm only talking about this too because, like, I'm not the perfect being. I've myself experienced, like, you know, every sort of perfectionistic tendency with my paintings and with my life. You know, if something carries into one aspect of your life, it's going to carry into all aspects of your life, you know, painting aside. Wanting to be perfect, wanting everything to be right and great, and, you know, you feel like all this pressure is being put on you, blah blah blah, and it's like, you know what, just sit down and paint, man. You know what I mean? Like, just chill out, take a chill pill and paint. Get some wine, watch a movie while you're doing it, for crying out loud. You know what I mean? Life is too freaking short. Well, that's all the pontificating I gotta do for today, I suppose. I don't know. There'll probably be more in the next hour or two. Who knows? I don't know. Anyways, so I think I'm pretty happy with the shading, at least on this one for now. I'm gonna let that be for a second. So now we're gonna go and add in the mitten linings, the trim, I guess you can call it. So again, we're going to take our filbert. He's the star of the show today. I'm going to dip it into white. And what I'm thinking we'll do is we'll just do a pat effect. So what I mean by that, I'm just going to pat it in. And we'll just fill in where the lining should be. So going back to Christmas, I am a little sad that the Christmas songs are not going to be as prevalent. That's really the biggest thing I look forward to, is playing Christmas music. I love every freaking minute of it, you know. Down to the, you know, down to like even the more not so great songs that everybody talks about, like even the ones like simply having a wonderful Christmas time. You know, I think that's a general, you know, Christmas hatred that everybody shares, but you know what, we bear through it. And oh yeah, and then we had that recent thing with Baby It's Cold Outside not really being played on radios anymore, which, you know, understandably so. Although it is kind of sad. I still enjoy the crap out of that song. It's just a little, I guess, disheartening. And yeah, we read the lyrics. My husband and I, we were talking about this, and we were like, "Oh, that's crazy. You know, how could they do that?" And then we were like, "Oh, you know what? Let's read the lyrics. Let's really think about, you know, what the message is of this song." And we got to the second line, and we're like, "Oh, yikes!" Say, what's in this drink? I mean, I'll be honest with you. I am really, really sad. It's not really on the radio as much, and that it's got this kind of like perspective on it now. But yeah, it comes off pretty creepy, and it's pretty hilarious to really think about how this lasted this long in our society. But oh well, there'll be other songs, I'm sure. That makes me wonder, you know, are there going to be other songs in the future that will be recalled, you know, in a way as not appropriate for the age? We'll see. These are beautiful, furry little mittens. Gotta love them. And I'm also, again, I'm using like the sides of my brush to help get that nice fluffy trim going. Okay, so I'm going to move over to my, what is this one? My number one? Yeah, my number one flat brush. And we're going to add in more of like the lining details. So I'm going to go in with a little bit of black here. And I'm going to go ahead and mix that with equal parts blue as well. And I'm just going to go in, just add in just the little separation details. And just give you a little tip on how to place your black line when it comes to differentiating between the right glove and the left glove. You want to think about which glove is going to be technically on top, and that's how you'll kind of make your line. So in this case here, I decided that the left glove that we see here in this picture is going to be on top of the right glove. So I made sure to add a bit more material onto the left glove, and I assisted that using my lines as well. Yeah, and just for good measure, I'm just going to add some, just a little bit underneath here as well. Don't worry, you can always add back in your trim after you're done. Just like so. Cute. Cute, cute, cute. Gotta love it. Okay, and then I'm just kind of spreading it with the tip here. Spreading it out onto the black. That's the thing I really love about this brush, is like how precise you can be. And then it's really good at just spreading the rest. Again, just adding it a little underneath. So this part, the one I'm thinking about anyways, it's going to be interesting for us because this is a knitted mitt. So it's definitely going to have some stitching that's going to show up on this. And I guess we can maybe try doing a knit. Why not? Let's give it a shot, right? We have to try new things that are sometimes a little scary, right? Anyways, I'm trying to think. I think there's stitching right around here. So what I would suggest is when you're doing your stitching, you just want to make side lines, meaning I'm moving my brush up using the tip of my flat brush, and then I'm just going to make lines going down like that using the tip of the brush. And because it's a flat brush, this is what it's meant to do. It's meant to give you very crisp lines, kind of like so. So that can give you a little bit more of that homemade feel that we're looking for here. Oh, yes. Yes, queen. Cuteness. Okay. Just gonna have maybe a little bit of water in this case will help us here. You know what, I'm going to go in with my number 10 shader brush just to kind of help me get some more of these guys here. Okay, let's try something. So I'm going to take some white, some blue. I want it to be mainly white though. I'm going to test something here. If I do the stitching, do I do that? I would do that. And then it just repeats. Actually, it's not that bad. So you can take the tip of your brush and just do side swipes with them, just so you can represent the stitching. And I don't think you have to be too incredibly precise with this part. You just want to show that there's actually stitching happening. So, oh yeah, actually that looks really cool. Taking my brush and kind of tipping it to the side. And I'm trying to follow this, like the shapewear of the glove. So if the glove is kind of moving this way, the stitching is also going to move that way as well. Oh, that's actually really cute. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. All right, so cuteness. Ah, don't you just love it when things in art kind of work out in your favor when you experiment a little bit? Oh yeah, this is going to be really cute because then when you add the little snowflake on top of that, oh, it's going to look adorable. Oh, freaking cute. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. And you know, at this point too, you can just even do little dots to represent the knitting. Yeah, dots work too. See, we're discovering things together, people. Isn't that great? Isn't that exciting? And of course, if this is a little too much for you, you can totally skip this part. You don't have to do it. I guess I just wanted to see if I can challenge myself a little bit more when it comes to gloves. I'm not gonna lie, actually, this is really fun and therapeutic, not gonna lie. It's a bit more on the detail side, but I'm really having a good time with it. Oh, we gotta go down. Yeah, actually, this is really cool. Digging it. You know, I'm actually moving to the broad side of the brush and doing that, like, that pattern. It seems to kind of get the point home a little bit more, which I really like. Okay, on to the other side. Okay. Oh my god, I'm really loving this. Like, it's really, really cute. And it just adds like a little bit more of like a level of thought that went into making making it look like fabric, or at least a knit. It's not like perfect, but it kind of gets the point home that this is a knit, what do you call it, glove? English, oh my goodness. I don't know if some of you know this, but English was actually not my first language. It was actually Italian, and I actually was not born in the United States. I was actually born in Montreal, Canada, where I lived for about almost 9 years, I would say, of my life. And then I moved to Boston, Massachusetts when I was about 9 years old at that point, and started life. Obviously, like I knew Italian for a while, but I went to English school in Canada, so they had to teach us. I had to be taught English because I didn't understand my teacher, and I was actually a class nuisance. I mean, are you surprised? I distinctly remember, like, a childhood memory I have of not listening to the teacher was during reading time. I didn't want to like sit down and hear the story that was going to be read, so I just ended up doing a tunnel game with the desk chairs. I don't know if you've ever heard of this game before, but like you try to line up the chairs as best as you can under the desks, and then you just shimmy around under the desk, and it's kind of like a tunnel, and it's a ton of fun. But I remember I did that one day, and I got my teacher talking to my mom, being like, "Hey, can't keep having this distraction in class." And my mom was like, "Oh my god." Super utterly embarrassed. And yeah, ever since then she taught me English, and that's kind of how I functioned thereafter. So Italian I still kind of know pretty well, but it's not as strong as it used to be. But I still understand it, and I still speak it with my grandmother. She likes to call every now and then. We'll like have a chat in Italian. My grandfather, we speak in English, much to my grandmother's dismay. She would rather us have our conversations in Italian so we can keep it up. And it's tough. It's really tough when you are not exposed to a language for a long period of, like, for quite a period of time. Like, I know that whenever I go visit my grandparents, it comes back. Like, I stay there for a weekend, and all the words start to kind of flood back to me, and I start remembering everything. But when I'm home and I'm doing what I gotta do, then it's a little tough to remember everything, you know? And sometimes when she calls and I'm in the middle of something, I gotta put whatever I'm doing down and put my brain onto like switch mode. I have to, you know, it's so weird how you can how we use our like different parts of our brain for something, and I definitely feel it when I have to speak a different language with my grandparents, because I just really feel the buttons whirring and clicking, and all the little Amandas in my head being like, "Oh God, alert! Where's your Italian sources? I don't know." Ah. Yeah, basically my mind is just a crazy, scary place sometimes to live in. Welcome to my world. But anyways, so now I'm just going back in with my filbert. Just going back in over with the white. Guys, how cute are these gloves? Oh my lord. I'm obsessed. Like, I'm really obsessed with these gloves. So cute. And these are going to be hanging on a hook, so we're just going to be taking a shader brush here. I'm going to dip it in some black. And then just going to make a line coming out this way, like so. Then another line coming out this way, like so. And it kind of disappears. I know in the original source material, it's actually somebody's like hand is actually in there, but the more I look at this, I think it's just really cute without the snowflake on it. It just being very simple gloves. I don't know, I've started to become a little bit more into the simplicity of things. That's kind of why I've started to do like my newspaper pop art paintings, because it forces me to be very simple with my art. And therefore it encourages me to be more creative with what I can do. Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, I think I'm going to do a couple little shadows with the trim, and then I think we're going to call this done. What do you think, right? Love it. Okay, so I'm going to take my number 1 flat. I'm going to dip it into some white and black, so I make a nice gray. Maybe a little more white to that. I really want to make this like the lightest gray possible. Okay, so we're going to establish obviously that this glove is obviously overlapping first. So this is gonna be the glove that's gonna be kind of dominating with its shadow. So I'm just gonna kind of create a hard shadow here, right there. Okay, and that's how you create that separation. So I'm just gonna spread this out. Not to worry if this looks weird. It's going to get covered when we go back in on the last round with our white. We just have to kind of establish that this is the reigning glove that's on the top. Okay, and then I'm just kind of taking that, and my canvas is still wet here, so it's blending very, very nicely with the white underneath. And I'm kind of doing like just random constant strokes, and this just really helps it to show more contrast with the trim, right? Okay. Of course, we'll go back in later and add our white back in, but for now, I just wanted to add in my shadows. All right, we're gonna do that again on this side. So. Okay, kind of just concentrating it towards the bottoms here, kind of fading it out as it gets to this point here. Oh, you guys, I love it. I'm gonna have to erase that later. Cool, cool. Okay, now I'm just gonna go back into straight up white. And you know what? I'm gonna reclaim some of this back. And I'm totally allowed to do that because, well, it's my painting, I can do whatever I want. But that's a really cool thing about acrylic paint. If you feel like you made like a tiny little bit of an error, you can always just go back in and add on top. That's why I prefer this over watercolors, because I tend to make a lot of mistakes. You know, I'll be the first to admit it. You know, I make tons of mistakes as an artist. That's fine. And that's why I like to use a medium that can kind of emulate my lifestyle. I make mistakes left and right, and life is okay. Okay, cool. And yeah, so we're just gonna go in here now. Kind of help break up some of that gray that we put in earlier with just the white, using the same brush strokes like I was doing before initially. Okay. Maybe just a couple more over here. Yeah, you know what? I really like this because it does add some texture. Ooh, I almost forgot. Let's just throw in a palette knife in here. You know, if you don't have a palette knife, that's okay. Just keep following with your brush. But oh my god. Oh, I love this. Oh my god. Ah ha ha. It's literally just scraping and letting whatever color values underneath show up. Oh! Oh! Yes, queen. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. We're out now, we're having fun. Okay. Ah! One more? Ah! Oh my lord. You don't have headphones on while you're watching this. I am sorry, because it sounds like I'm literally about to make love with my canvas. This is fan-freaking-tastic. Honestly, I don't know what other artists on YouTube get this excited, but hey, you know what? I'm living my life. That's what counts. That is freaking cute. Oh my god. Okay. And you know what? I just add a little bit. Maybe some extra little things here and there. Oh, hey! Okay, now we're talking. It's a nice contrast. Oh my lord. Oh my Lanta. Alright. Freaking cute, you guys. Oh, you guys! I just sounded like a haunted house there. I apologize, but I'm way too excited to contain myself. You're beautiful! I am officially shook. Just like thing, just put it in the corner somewhere. Can we do that? Oh, yes! Queen! Alright, let's do, whoops. It just adds that spontaneity. People, I'm officially just into the palette knife scene now. It's done. Amanda's cooked. We got her into palette knives, people. What is she gonna do next? Who knows? Oh my, yeah, this is the spunk that I'm looking for here. And that is how you can make your very own cute little mitten scene. I hope you guys had a good time with this tutorial, because I know I sure as hell did. My queen bees, how much fun was that tutorial? I had such a good time making this, and the knit pattern came out absolutely phenomenal. If you guys enjoyed this tutorial, please be sure to give this video a like and to subscribe to my channel. Hit that like button, you know what to do, so that you can see more fun tutorials like this from me to you in the future. If you guys really like this painting, you can actually buy the print on my website, www.thebuzzartist.com, so be sure to check that out. Remember, love yourselves and always have fun with your acrylic paint. See you all next time. Bye!